In 1866, the United States Congress passed legislation creating 4 all-African American Army units: the 9th and 10th Cavalry, and the 24th and 25th Infantry Regiments. These segregated troops served in the American West and would go on to play major roles in the Spanish-American War, both World Wars, and the Korean War. These are the stories of the Army's first Black regulars, stories built on the legacy of the Buffalo Soldiers. In 1881, a young, enthusiastic Mingo Sanders enlists in the U.S. Army. He's assigned to the all-black 25th Infantry Regiment and stationed at Fort Missoula, Montana in 1888. In 1894, Sanders and the 25th Infantry come under the command of James A. Moss, who establishes the first and only U.S. Army Bicycle Corps. Lieutenant Moss believes the bicycle could be more efficient than the horse as a combat vehicle and is determined to prove his theory. He maps several test treks for the Bicycle Corps until eventually sending them on a 1,900-mile, 41-day test mission from Fort Missoula to St. Louis. First Sergeant Mingo Sanders is the oldest and most experienced soldier in the regiment at 30 years old when he set out on his 52-pound Spalding bicycle with 19 other soldiers. Many of his companions have never ridden a bike before and find challenges at every turn on the road. The rugged and oftentimes muddy terrain of the American West proves detrimental to sustainable bicycle maintenance. The soldiers struggle with rotted tires, broken rims, and sickness, frequently being forced to dismount and walk on railroad tracks due to buildups of thick mud or snow on their wheels. Sanders' iron will drives the riders over mountain ranges and across turbulent rivers, and he plays a crucial part in keeping the morale of his tired and weary men high. When they eventually reach their destination on July 24, 1897, the Bicycle Corps thrilled the citizens of St. Louis. While Moss determined that bicycles were suitable for use in war and could stand up to rigorous tests, Army officials were not so easily convinced. Later, the advent of the internal combustion engine would ultimately kill the Bicycle Corps program. Mingo Sanders pursues a courageous lifestyle after his war bicycle treks. He serves in combat with the 25th Infantry in the Spanish-American War, fighting in Cuba alongside Teddy Roosevelt's fabled Rough Riders. Mingo is partially blinded. The 25th shared provisions with the Rough Riders, but racial tensions flare between them and continue to follow Sanders as he serves his country. In 1906, Sanders has a second brush with then-President Teddy Roosevelt. While stationed in Fort Brown, Texas, the 25th Infantry is blamed for the shooting of 2 white civilians, one of whom died. With an inquiry ordered by the president, the soldiers of the 25th were interrogated. Denying involvement with the crime, and even with the inspector unable to find a credible witness, President Roosevelt still dishonorably discharges Sanders and 166 other black soldiers without trial. This event comes to be known as the Brownsville Affair. Mingo Sanders proudly served in the Army for almost 26 years and is mere months from retirement when discharged. He loses most of his retirement benefits, and the dishonorable discharge makes it difficult to hold down a meaningful, well-paying job. Living the rest of his life in poverty, Sanders dies alone in Washington, D.C. at the age of 72. 43 years later, in 1972, President Nixon awards the 167 soldiers accused in the Brownsville Affair honorable discharges. But at this point, only one of them is still alive. First Sergeant Mingo Sanders' life was upturned by actions of racism, but he is not forgotten. His story of great injustice becomes a focal point for African American rights champions throughout U.S. politics for years to come. The Brownsville Affair was not the first. nor the last time the Buffalo Soldiers faced civilian intolerance in communities they were assigned to protect. Despite the support of their commanders, they faced blame and punishment for troubles they did not cause or crimes they did not commit. Even so, the patriotism, dignity, and spirit of these units never wavered. Over and over, they answered their country's call with courage and competence that gained the admiration of their leaders and their reputation as some of the Army's finest soldiers.